I'd like to talk about a very difficult, hard subject. And doing that, I just want you to know that I've never done something like this before, and forgive me if I rattle on, but it's very difficult. It's a hard subject to talk about, and I believe on platforms they don't allow you to use the S word or the K word. So I will refrain from using those, and I may use a word or a phrase like, he didn't want to be here anymore. He decided not to be here anymore. But you'll get the gist about what I'm talking about. And it's very difficult for this mom to talk about. My son, John, I'll talk a little bit about him first. He was an amazing person. Unfortunately, he had two sides to his brain. One was an amazing side, and the other was a mentally ill side. His amazing side, he was just a giving, loving person. He did amazing remodel work, tile work, amazing tile work. Even, in our area, some of the more prominent people, he did some amazing tile work. And I even have pictures of it. It's wonderful. When he was in what I call his John side, he was very giving and loving and caring, even about strangers. So many times he'd come across like elderly people or people that may have fallen and gotten hurt on the sidewalk, or something like that, where everybody else was just going by and ignoring them, where he would turn around and stop and help them. And he seemed to come across a lot of them, so we even got a big toolbox, and we just filled it with all kinds of first aid stuff, because he always happened to come across people like that. And then when he was remodeling his houses, of course, that helped. But anyway, and then there was the other side, the mental ill side, the side that made him do stuff that, if that wasn't there, he would never have done, would have never gotten himself into trouble, that I can't imagine, without having him having that other side to have to fight all the time, what an amazing life he would have lived. He fought it for many years, and the last couple years, I really thought he was getting past it and he was going to be able to finally live that life that he wanted. And he struggled because it irritated him, it bothered him that, he knew where he wanted to be, he knew what he wanted to have in his life. But when that side of him, that illness came out, he just did stuff that should have never done, would have never done. So much so that last couple of years, we had plans, and he wanted Mom to hurry up and retire so I could help him out with his business and get his entrepreneurship going. And I gave him some ideas on a house that was just in my head, and he always wanted to be an architect. But so after he passed, I found the drawing of the house with my ideas in it that he drew, that he always said, Mom, get my business going and we can, build your house. But just to let you know, his dream was always to be an architect. And unfortunately, when he was a very young teenager, he did something that seemed insignificant, probably seemed insignificant to a lot of people, that it then would never allow him to be able to be an actual architect, which devastated him. But unfortunately, because of his choices as a very young teenager, which we try to get across to our kids, it ruined that for him for the rest of his life. And I think that bothered him even more, and just was really, really irritating. So anyway, I want to try to get people to realize that if you have mental illness, if you have, problems, to get help, And if the first 1, 2, 5 people that you go to don't seem to be helping, just keep going. He did tell me that the last part of the last year he was seeing somebody, but what I need to get across to people that are thinking about not wanting to be here anymore, about deciding that maybe this world would be better without him, or their life would be easier if they didn't have to deal with anything. What I want you to know is that that's all short. It's short-lived. There are people that love you, care about you, your parents, your family, your friends, your acquaintances. And at the time, you might be feeling really, really down and out, like he was just barely over 2 years ago. To hold on, because it will get better. He was doing really good. We were having plans. We were starting a huge garden. We were going to start, having our little vegetable stand that he was going to build for me. And he was very excited because he'd come over to my place, and we would, get the garden going and plants going. And he was getting ready to build a stand. But then something happened. Don't have to know what it is. Just something to us would be small and not so big happened. And unfortunately, when things for him didn't go exactly as planned, exactly as he thinks they should, and I always attribute that to maybe his very high IQ. So maybe he just thought, things should go as I think they should, and end of story. But that's not how the world works. And I was trying to explain to him that just to hold on, things would change. Situations weren't going to be as they were, probably, maybe even, within a month or so, that things would change. He'd be coming back to my house, and in the meantime, I would take care of the whole garden, and everything would be all set. But unfortunately, that mental illness side of him kicked in, and the simplest things aggravated him. And he just couldn't get that mom saying, just hold on, things will change. It's might feel like a big deal now, but it's really not that in the whole realm of things, that things will get better. Things will change. You'll be over here. We'll be getting our stuff going as we planned, all of that. But of course, with him, when he was in that mental illness state of his, it needed to be immediate, and it wasn't immediate. So he actually ended up aggravating it more. Tried to get him to know that, certain person, just have to ignore that would straighten out too. But unfortunately, he just wasn't getting it, and he ended up doing something really stupid. Actually, maybe a couple things, but something really stupid that really hurted one particular person terrible. I'm trying not to lose it because that happening, even though I don't know all the details, but that happening is just kills me, and wish the person never had to go through any of that or deal with any of that. And you know, he would have just kept his cool, and for that, you know who I'm talking about, and I'm deepest sorry. But anyway, so because he got himself in trouble again, and he figured maybe this time he wasn't going to get out of it, and maybe the consequences would have been for a very, very long time. That 2 weeks before his birthday, he decided he had enough and decided he didn't want to be here anymore. It's that S word. So November 4th was 2021 was the worst day of my life. I lost my child. I lost my child to mental illness. And anybody out there that's struggling, I ask you to get help. And most of all, whatever you're going through, just know it's temporary, that things can change, and it will change. Just hold on, no matter what, hold on. And do not end up putting your loved ones in the spot that my son put me in. And I say this because the hurt and pain that you feel right now, that's making you think that maybe you don't want to be here anymore either. Just know that my son did it, and if you do it, what has happened is that pain that you have, and you're not here anymore, especially because of that way, that's the kind of pain you put on us for the rest of our life. Especially us mamas. I'm talking this all in my realm, in mine, not other people's, not dads, not kids, not sisters, not friends, families, but my perspective. That my life is a living hell since then, and it probably will be for the rest of my life. And to just let everybody know that the first year was hard enough, but I realized the second year it seemed harder, and I'm wondering if it is actually been harder because the first year was so grief-stricken and so couldn't believe it, and everything extra that I had to fight through and deal with because this one person has butted into stuff that shouldn't have been and made this whole thing worse. And I can tell you that I believe if that person had just stayed out of our lives and not been in our lives, like that person should have never been in our lives ever again, he wouldn't have gone mentally overboard, and he wouldn't have done what he did, and he wouldn't have gotten himself in trouble, and he wouldn't have decided to leave us for good. I try not to hate anybody, but that person is there. And what I can tell you guys is that this pain is so bad that even that as a person I wish just was never around. I would not wish upon that person losing their child like I lost mine. losing a brother or sister like his brother and sisters lost him, and not losing a son like his dad lost. And I just beg you that if you are having an issue, please get help. Know people love you. Know people are out there for you. At the end, he said, he didn't think anybody cared, didn't love him. But anybody that knows me through all the years of his ups and downs, his mental illness and getting in trouble, I was one of the very few people who were there and stayed there for him, just believing that sooner or later, he was going to have the life he wanted. And then I could see the happier side of his life. But unfortunately, because people butt in and aggravate situations and poke the beast, as I want to call it, has changed my life forever. I will never be the person I was before he decided to leave. And I'm just asking you, do not do that to your loved ones. Do not do that, especially to your mother. Because a mom takes it personally. She believes there's always something she should have been able to do, no matter what, which for all these years I believe that, and that's why I've hung in and tried to help. That I should have been able to prevent it. And probably the harder part is that when he left, and even now, it makes me as a mom feel like I wasn't enough for him to want to stay. And even, work out the issues he had and to deal with it and get it done with, and then just get into life and live life the way it is. For a mom not to feel enough that her child doesn't even want to be around anymore, doesn't want to be around her, is heartbreaking. But today is even more heartbreaking because today is John's birthday. And I'm asking you, don't do this to your mama. Don't make your mom have to celebrate your birthday like this. Don't make your mama have to come to a cold hat and stone to celebrate your birthday because you made a split decision on something that was so temporary. No matter what the situation is, it could have gotten better. So please get help. Know people love you. Know people care about you. Like I said, he thought nobody loved him, nobody cared. But I know in his heart he knows I did. It was just that mental illness. And anybody that knows me will tell you that I care about my children, all of my children, more than anything, and never want them to be hurt or anything. And nobody else cares. Just know this mama cares about you. I might not know you, but I care. I care that you get help. I care that you stay with us into a very old age and go and leave the right way and not leave and have to make your mama come and see you here. I can't do that very well, but you get the gist. So please, since the last 2 years, we've gone and we've done what's called Walk Out of the Darkness. It's a benefit to help people to prevent that S word, to prevent them taking themselves out sooner than they should be. And the one we go to is in Penfield, New York, not far from us. And if you know of anybody that has decided to leave or attempted to leave, but praise the Lord, they're still here, or you just know of people and you'd like to, in your own way, help prevent it, then look around your area. Usually it's in October. It's called Walk Out of the Darkness, and it's helping to prevent and to get people to realize that this is a major, major thing that we need to help. And that our young kids, like my son, I call him a kid, he still is. He, died 2 weeks before his birthday. But he's still my child. Always will be. And having other children does not negate the absolute pain and the emptiness and the hole that is left in my heart because he's no longer here. For the last 2 years is the first time ever that at least weekly I haven't heard his voice. Usually once a week, but many, many, many times, a few times a week, no matter where he was. And then when he was back home here, at least minimum once a week, seeing him. I haven't been able to see him or hear his voice for 2 years now. And I'm begging you, don't do that to your mom. And just know that I care. Nobody else, if you don't think anybody else cares, I care. I care that you overcome. I care that you end up living a life that you wanted to live. A life that my son didn't get to live. I care. Thank you.